I'm live. All right. I just finished doing my hair in box braids. I spent 2 days doing this, which is why there's not a video. There might still be a video because I'm feeling pretty motivated. So I might record a couple this afternoon and I could finish and upload one by this week. But there's not a video right now, Tuesday at 11 a.m., which is normally my time to upload. And I was kind of having this internal process because I knew I wasn't going to have a video go out this week where I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with your motivation? And like all of these very existential questions. But I realized, like, no, girl, you are working. You're just laboring on your hair. Like you're just doing your hair and it takes literally hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's not really a question of motivation. And as I said, I do have some ideas. But I just wanted to come on here and mostly show off my hair. And I this color is 613. I actually have the hair I used right here. It's Rastafari 613, and I used 4.5 packs of hair. And this is also my first time doing knotless box braids. And I love it. It's so much like nicer on my scalp. It's a lot like lighter, and this is my first set of box braids since 2021, maybe even like end of 2020. So in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like a return to myself because I love a set of box braids. And I know a lot of folks only know me from my bald head experience, the bald head chimney experience. So it's fun to see this new version of me. And I have to say, I'm curious to see how it changes how I show up online because I do think there's an element of like, thinking I'm very cool, maybe even too cool for school with this hair. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But I did want to reflect on the fact that I had the capacity to do my hair again and what it sort of says about me and what I think it says about me because I've been doing my hair my whole life essentially. And I actually want to make a separate video about hyper independence and how it showed up in my relationships to doing my own hair. But before I shaved my head, and honestly, part of why I did so much protective styling was because I didn't want to have to deal with doing my hair. Like that's the way I approached hair care and taking care of my hair was very much this like burden upon me that I had to deal with. And I was constantly looking for ways to escape the burden of taking care of my own hair. Just felt this, it felt like endless and it felt like just this unending march. And I just also didn't care that much. And I also loved protective styles and changing it up. So I really did think of my natural hair as the space to like experiment with versus having inherent value, which I mean, that's a whole thing, right? Um, and what I noticed was towards the end of 2020, I suppose, um, I was really, I mean, there was a lot going on, y'all, but I was really like over it. I was really over spending so much time doing my hair. And the key thing is that it stopped being inherently fun, and before it had really been fun to experiment and to try new styles and try new colors and all these things. And I was getting to the point where I was just like, yeah, I was just over it. And of course, then shaved my head. Um, Always thinking that at some point I would grow my hair back again and all that, but I would just, I wanted to change. And then what was so great is when I started doing my hair, literally it was so cool because I had a really fun weekend. I saw the fitness marshal. Oh my gosh, so fun. I don't know. I feel like that's also tied into a video I want to make that's about like allowing ourselves to be happy, and not always thinking the other shoe's gonna drop. But it was super duper fun. That was this weekend. And I remember going to bed that night, and I always try to use the nighttime before I go to sleep on some Neville Goddard feeling is the secret. Like I always try to like think about something I really want or something I want to manifest so I can use that dream time, use those, alpha, theta brainwave states to like, create something great in my life. And I was like, okay, what do you want to do tomorrow? And I thought about a few different things, but it was still within my normal wheelhouse, which is like, going for a walk, sitting on my porch with a smoothie. Like I have a very, very chill life. I'm very blessed. And so I was like, there's nothing I can really conjure that's so intense. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. Go to bed, wake up, and it like lands in me like you're doing your hair. And I have had this hair for maybe 3 months. I bought it way before I could do my hair in box braids. I was very ambitious, and I didn't really have a lot of the little small tools that I needed, like just the gel and the clips and just the small things I would have needed to just do this hairstyle well. Even just the bathroom in this apartment has the mirrors, like the 3 mirrors on each side where you can, like, turn it and see the back of your head, and I, like, never, like, used that function for some reason. I've been using one hand mirror and trying to see, like, just little stuff like that where the process of doing my hair would have been so much harder at any earlier stage than right now. But I woke up and I was like, "Yeah, it's time." And I did my hair and I was so happy. It was so cool. Like I sat down. If you're on my personal Instagram, you saw I gave a little clip, of me doing the hair. But I just like sat down on the floor, propped up the mirror, put in the little parts, was braiding, and I was just so happy. And also I'm very grateful that it really doesn't take much to make me happy. A pack of Kanekalon hair in a color I haven't used before, and the time to do my own hair is really all I need. And that's something I've really been presencing lately. Someone asked me a question, like, someone like from the Quit My Job video was like, it's been a couple years, like, what's your update? And I haven't responded to the comment yet. I was gonna just like link one of my update videos, but I'm like, I guess I could also just talk about it. Which is the biggest shift is having the amount of time and capacity to do things that before were felt like burdens to me because I didn't have the inner capacity to do them. And it makes things that did seem to be burdens to now be gifts. And it's really an invitation for me. It's been an invitation to let myself receive the gifts of life and not simply think of life as this thing that I have to get through and move through. And I'm still working on it. Like I still have this sense of like I should be doing something, like even now, like I didn't have a video to go out this week, but I was like, I can't just not post something, I've got to do something, even though I do think in a really fundamental way that my impact doesn't come from anything that I'm doing. It's all from my energy and my purpose and me like living in a very like high level of vibration. Like that's me. I'm doing the most for the planet and for other people when I am in a really high energy. I truly believe that. So I don't think it's so much about me doing, but it's still such like an instinctual, habitual program thing to want to work that even when no one is like, you know, there's no deadline, no external person is holding me accountable to say, "Hey, where's the video?" Da da da. Like there's still that part in me that wants to do that. And that is something maybe I'll reflect on. I think I have reflected on that in some video, but maybe I'll reflect on it again. This idea of like, when you quit your job and you now are truly living on your own terms, you really come face to face with what your terms are and how many of those terms are pre-programmed and how many of them are actually natural to you. But I must say the other thing I really appreciate about not being traditionally employed is the time to recover from things. Like I went out on Thursday to this like dope event. And we went there, me and my friend went there like 7:30 at night. We were out until like 1 in the morning on a Thursday night. I was looking around like, what is going on with y'all that y'all are out this late? Cause I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow morning, but like y'all are going to another spot and it's 12:30. We all live our lives. And I remember getting home and just feeling so grateful that I would be able to just go to bed and sleep for as long as I needed to, drink as much water as I needed. And I wouldn't be worried about like, oh my gosh, I have to like set my alarm to like get up at like 7 so I can be at work at 8 or whatever else. So just really feeling that sense of gratitude. And I gotta say, hi Abadan. I gotta say, I was talking to another friend who was in town and she was talking about one of her clients and how her client, her wealth came from her husband. And I was like, oh, did he like pass away? And she was like, no, no, no. She like married, him. And so now it was like their wealth. And I was like, I was like, ooh, my nervous system really responds to marrying into wealth. So I gotta say, I think those are my new sights. I'm gonna keep mine in my business. And you know what? Maybe that's what God is preparing me for in having me live with my sister and not pay any bills and just be a light in her life and do what I want. and spend hours doing my hair and going on walks and healing my trauma and raising my vibration. He's like, girl, you need to get, you wouldn't even match if you met a man who wanted to pay for your lifestyle in exchange for your wonderful energy. You wouldn't even resonate with that because you think that you have to do some kind of labor in order to justify your existence. Let me get you used to what it feels like to truly do what you want to do all day long and then have the people in your life say thank you. Thank you for being you. And I gotta say, I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. One thing I learned too from talking to my friend who's also a creative, she was saying like I was the only one she knew who basically didn't have some kind of 9 to 5 that I'm doing in addition to my creative stuff. Like every single person she knew was like also doing something else. And I was like, basically, it's strange to me that my lifestyle is as uncommon as it seems, because 'cause I'm like, "No way." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Surely I'm not the only one." I don't know. I think there are more of us out there, but when I really reflected on it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I am also." I know, like, one other person who's a creative, who's similar in lifestyle in terms of, like, doesn't have, like, a 9 to 5 and is truly, like, living off their creativity and, um, just being very, like feeling like, "Oh, I'm gonna be taken care of," kind of energy. But yeah, I guess I do also know a lot of people who are like, "Yes, I'm creative. Yes, I want these things, and I do have work in the morning." So, I think I didn't really, because she asked me, she was like, "Do you understand the impact of, like, what you're doing and the way you're living your life and the impact it's having on people?" And I was like, "No, because I know, I'm like, I'm just chilling. I don't feel like I'm doing any, I'm just hanging out. So how is that having this insane impact?" But in reflecting, I'm like, "Oh, I guess truly me sitting here in my living room at 11 a.m. talking about the role of these box braids in my healing journey with a few strangers who also have nowhere to be. What are y'all doing? There's a handful of y'all in here. What are y'all doing?" Assuming y'all are on East Coast time and it's 11 something, how is it that you have the capacity to be on YouTube right now and you're chilling? Please let me know in the comments. But yeah, it just didn't occur to me that had any greater impact than just being lovely for me. And it's beautiful to think about. So I'm gonna make a video where I show off these box braids. I'm obviously not wearing pants because I live alone. I don't live alone, but my sister's not here right now. And it's the middle of the day and I'm inside. So I'm not wearing pants. I'm not gonna stand up to show you the length of these box braids, but they're beautiful waist length braids. So I'm gonna make some content showing these braids off. I think I maybe will sketch some ideas out, outline something about a few other videos. Though I gotta say, going live. Oh, and I was gonna name how going live like this with like no announcement and like no fanfare, don't even have a thumbnail ready. We'll see what I'll even do about that. Um, this is how I first went live back when I first moved back to the East Coast from LA. And I really like this way of going live because there's no pressure. Because even though it's fun to do it, I would get nervous if I like scheduled it and I like had it, like, okay, it's going to be on Saturday. It's going to be on Saturday. Like it would be in my energy. And so I really like this way of doing it. So I think this is how I'm just going to randomly go live and whoever is online will see me online. Um, and I was gonna say something else, but now I wanna reflect on the fact that, and I talked about this in the last time I went live, there is something so intimate about talking to about talking to people, especially people who you only see on the internet. Like, y'all, anyone who's here, "Oh, hey, Rosalie, you are at work at a cafe. Ooh, is it where do you live?" I'm like, "Where do you live?" Like, I could come. Um like I said, I saw the Fitness Marshall this weekend. I only found out about Caleb Marshall and his dance channel, like, for real. I only got really into it in the last few months, though I actually had someone show me one of his videos, like, back in 2022. Um, And I became such a huge fan, followed his vlogs. And then he was going on tour. And so I went to his tour date this past weekend. And then I was first in line. I didn't even plan that. I was like first in line for the meet and greet. And then I'm like hugging them. And I'm like, it literally was like, what is happening? That I only ever watch you on my computer screen or on my television when I hook up my computer screen to my television. And now your arms are around me. What's happening? Like, it's very like, it's a lot. Like, it's overwhelming. So just to say, I understand anyone who's just like hanging out watching and is like, I'm not, it would be too much to like leave a comment and have Chinby say my name. Hey, Rosalie's living with her mama. You live in Tulsa. I know someone who lives in Tulsa. You're moving back to Texas. Oh, are you moving for a family in that you're moving to like support them or like to just be with them? Or like, are they okay? Is basically what I'm asking, because I will pray for them. Um, and the thing about living with family is that it does invite you to presence. This is how I talk now. I used to not talk like this. It does invite you to presence all of your family dynamics that have been maybe laying dormant since you escaped the vortex of their energy. So do you have a sense of the dynamics that you have with your family that may become more alive and ready to be presenced? Ooh, you have an interview tomorrow. I cannot pronounce your name, but I'm so excited and happy for you. Good for you wanting to work. We love that. That's so good for the economy. So good for you wanting to work. You're going to do an incredible job on the interview. If you like want that job, this is my unsolicited interview advice is to really pretend like you already have that job and just be like, "Hey," and really connect to the fact. This is something that I feel like people don't realize. They need you. You know what I mean? Like, I was just looking on LinkedIn. Apparently, the worker shortage is quite intense. So they need you. All right. They need a good employee. So don't get it twisted that you're like they're giving you a gift. You're giving them the gift of your time and your labor. Anyone who has an idea and has a vision needs people to help them execute it. They would not be able to do what they do without you. So just remember that you have a lot more power than you may think. I'm assuming you don't already know this, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Your your username is Fatboy Warrior. Love that for you. Very curious about the origin story. Feel free to tell it to me. Harry is saying that you want to thank me. Why couldn't I just say that like a normal person? You want to thank me. Received. Um, for being such a source of inspiration and joy for me this year. You've been working through a lot since December. Listen, the capital LOT of a lot is holding a lot. So I can only imagine. And the fact that you're still here is incredible, and we love it. And you're saying my videos have always been great for grounding me in some difficult times and have guided me in my process of reevaluating my relationship with cannabis. And my laugh is infectious. It's infectious. Yay, I'm so glad. I'm really glad to hear that. Literally, there's a weed spot in my neighborhood, and they sent me physical mail to be like, hey, girl, guess what? You want some drugs? And I was like, hey, you don't even know about my journey. And it was a whole thing where like I held up the little flyer with had like discount codes, 25% off, 10% off. And I was like, I'm just gonna hold on to this because you never know what's gonna happen. But then like a couple days later, I threw it away and I was so proud of myself because I'm really loving being sober and being alive. I gotta say. Like I'm a big fan of both. And I've done some drinking lately, like going out and having a couple of drinks. And it's fun, but I don't really love my energy when I've been drinking. I feel like it does become very aggressive, very abrasive. And I don't know if other people would say that or if that's just me, but I think because part of my desire is to always be walking with grace and to really feel connected to God and love and compassion and like understanding and like respect and all these things. And I notice when I drink, I just get very, very carefree where I'm like maybe not being so thoughtful about how other people are receiving me. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to, it's not worth it. And I'm still working on that. I don't have like a history or a backstory with drinking that is really like intense or anything. So it's not something that's like super active for me, But it is something where I'm like aware of it and I'm really appreciating the times when I'm going out with people and it's fully sober and I'm just drinking water or lemonade and some juice or a smoothie and just getting to just be there in my natural energy. Rosalie sang a month with no weed. Woo! Woo, Rosalie! Listen, I was thinking about starting a whole support group, but like part of me was like, how would I monetize it? But it's just for people who are trying to quit weed because that's such a popular video on my channel. And we literally just like hang out once a week and I just like cheer y'all for like, because I think that's not so common to have someone just be like, yes, good job. I support you. I'm here for you. You're doing your thing. And I think some people like maybe feel alone in their journey. But from that video, I can tell that there's so many people who are on a similar journey. So I'm like, oh, I think it'd be really nice. But then I'm like, that's just called AA Chimdi, or like there's like other ones, but like that's just like one of the AA things. And they know what they're doing. Like there's a whole methodology tied to those AA groups. I don't know a lot about it, but I just know that there's like a whole methodology that's tied to like consciousness raising too. And literally the consciousness of the people in those groups is super duper high. So I'm like, I shouldn't just start something. This is something I'm learning. Maybe don't just like start something because you're just like, I could do it, and then realize it's maybe more intense than you think. Harry's saying that you're still working through your things with alcohol. Past few times it's left you deflated and kind of numb. And you're so much happier sober now. You have all the joy you need. Amen. Amen. What a blessing it is. Like that's, and it's the kind of thing where you don't realize it until you get to experience it. Because maybe for so long, this is my experience, for so long, it's normal to just be like, about life. And then have these external things that like momentarily or superficially like raise your experience, being like, you know what? Things are actually great. And then you go back to like, it wears off. And then you're like, this thing again. And then to actually experience an internal joy, like a river of love and life from your heart that's just ever flowing. And you're like, wow, the tree, the sun, like it's a total different ballgame. And to know that it's super duper common to not have that experience. And the fact that I'm experiencing something else, I'm realizing like, oh, like this is such a gift, such a blessing. And it's more precious to me than, the fun of getting high or drinking and all of these things. And like I said, it's not like I never ever smoke or drink. The last time I smoked was at my friend's wedding, which was at the top of August, maybe like 3 or so weeks ago. And yeah, I smoked once, but before that, it had been months and months. So it's not a part of my life the way it used to be. And it's like fun for a day, but then yeah, I'm not interested in making that my lifestyle anymore. And I'm just very grateful about that. And then Rosie says that you still use CBD because you have high blood pressure. Now, Rosie, and let me know if it's cool if I call you Rosie, if you prefer Rosalie, because I know I don't like nicknames. Call me by my name. Rosalie, do you want to talk about your high blood pressure and what's going on in your life that you are so stressed out? And this is a public platform. So if the answer is no, I fully respect that. Harry's saying that you've also been loving CBD. You take a few drops. You have nature walks. We're so blessed. You just be out in nature. Amen. What's the nature in your area like? Like, I've been really loving the like Pacific Northwest, like big, big ass trees, like those particular trees that you see in the Pacific Northwest. One thing I'll do, y'all, it's so fun. Also, this is that kind of live where we're just vibing. I have no greater point. You can do this thing, obviously, because everyone knows this, but I don't know how many people actually do it. You can just go on Google Maps and just, the little person where you can like drop down the person and see Street View. You can just go to random states that you have never been to and have no intention of visiting and just take that little person and drop them down and be like, what's going on here? How do y'all live? What views do y'all see? It is so cool and so entertaining. And I've been doing that. I've just been like, this is how you know I have free time. I have just been like hanging out on Google Maps as a form of entertainment and just been looking to see like, oh, you can see people's homes. Like you can really be like, Oh, and so I've been doing that and just seeing all the different gorgeous natural landscapes here in America. And I've just been like going across like the middle of the country and like, oh, this is so beautiful. So there's a lot of beauty in our country, in our world. And that's so great that you get to have regular nature walks. Like, what a blessing. Trees, oh my gosh. And I'm genuinely that excited about it. Because Harry's saying trees give you such a natural high now. Nature is truly so powerful. And you know, one thing I connected to is like, I was reading this book and it talked about how basically, of course, we're all one and we're all related, da, da, da. And it was talking about how, like, you know, if you were like, if you had a cat next to you, and you were sending your cat like loving vibes, like it would feel that, like it would feel the difference and it would start to purr and stuff. And that's how it is with the trees and stuff. And like, I spent so much time sitting on my porch, staring at trees and being like, you are so hot. I love you. Like, I'm just like so in love with these trees. I'm like, you are so beautiful. I love the way you sway and dance. And then I was like, wait, can that tree hear me? Like it didn't occur to me the tree was for real conscious and was like, thanks, Chimdi. You're cool too. And I'm like, what? What? The tree knows me? So yeah, the trees are like legit, like they're alive and they are like conscious and they like know us. And they obviously don't talk, but like they're sending us vibes. And if we like are on that frequency, we can talk to them. So Avatar, you know? Hey R, you talk. Oh, okay. I put an L in taking and said talking. You said you love taking your chickens out to the garden. Oh, do you eat the chickens or do you just live with them? Harry's saying you're in Wales. Look at my international community. Look at my impact across the pond. Can I come visit you? I am so comfortable with meeting people I met on the internet. It's wild. I am just right. I'm like, can we hang? Do you want to hang out? Like, I would love to go to Wales. All I know about Wales is that that's where the Prince of Wales is. That's Harry and Meghan. And also, there's like a whole thing with like the UK and Great Britain and like Brexit. But that's all I got, you know? Like we say on my channel, we operate on vibes. You live in Cardiff. Oh my gosh, you have lots of beautiful parks. So beautiful. And you've started taking yourself on the train to new places. Okay, that's next on my list. Because I do a lot of walking and I'll be like, oh, let me walk to a new place I haven't been to. But to like get on public transit and be like, let's see where the spirit leads me. That's a level of like safety in your body that I aspire to. I think I have it, but I obviously don't because I haven't done that yet. But I aspire to it. So that's really beautiful. I kind of had that in New York a little bit where I'd be like, you know, I've never gotten off on this train stop before. Let me just see like the subway stop. Let me just like see what the vibe is. But that felt more safe because there are so many train stops and I knew it'd be relatively easy to just like hop back on it and get home. But I really love that you can do that. Harry's saying it's so powerful when you detach from the feeling of needing to do things with others all the time and just going to see more parts of the world with yourself. That's so beautiful. And what I love is that I really do think our external matches is just a mirror of our internal journey. And so when I hear you say that, what I think is like you've been doing the work of like letting yourself go more internal because smoking weed is a way of like kind of numbing and not being with like the intensity of our own experience. And so you like letting yourself intentionally be with yourself internally is now being mirrored in you being with yourself in the external world. And I think that is so cool. Um, so art is in manatees in Silver Spring. Oh, in Florida. There's a place called Silver Spring in DC. Manatees in Silver Springs in Florida. And backyard. You're wow. In my backyard in the Santa Fe River. Living near rivers is so cool. I visited Chicago this summer, and it's just like a river. Is it a river? I think so. Michigan? Lake. Never mind. Still beautiful. We love a body of water. Harry, I was chuckling earlier when you said the impact because I was like, yes. Harry, you've never left Europe? Well, Europe is cool because it has all those countries right up against each other. And they're so different in culture. I feel like what's interesting about America is it's one United States of America. I got corrected on that. Also, did you know Mexico was technically called the United States of Mexico? Because I was in this community where we're talking about how we just will call the USA America, but actually, of course, America is like the whole thing. And somebody was just like, well, we can say like the US. And then someone's like, no, because the US can also be the US of Mexico. And I'm like, I learned so much. Um, what's interesting about the United States of America is that it's one country, but then truly also has like different vibes as you move through. But then spatially, it's so freaking big. But then you'll have this whole basically like all of the left of America is California, but that's one state compared to like all of the left of the East Coast is like 15 states. So yeah, come out here. It's fun. I need to bring some positivity over to the UK, is what Harry is saying. I was there last year. Maybe you felt it. Maybe you felt if there was a day where you felt like extra, like, that's probably the day that I was there for my cousin's wedding. And it was really, really cool. So yeah, I'm calling in a parish trip. I'm learning French again. Y'all, I don't know how many library systems have this, but my library system in Maryland has a connection with Mango languages. So I've been like learning French online, and it is so fun and so easy. So consider it if you have that option. Arts chickens are for eggs only. Whoa. They have chicken pox. Chicken pox is a chicken thing. You know how there's certain things where you never put two and two together? Chicken pox is a chicken thing. What? And also, what is it? Chicken pox sounds like it's from a different century. That shit sounds like polio. What is chicken pox? I know chicken pox for humans. What is chicken pox for chicken? I'm learning a lot. I'm being really stimulated with this live. Whoa, 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 whoa. And you're giving the chickens Western medicine. Good for you. Good for you believing in Western medicine for those chickens. I'd be like, listen, chickens, clearly there's something going on in our energy here in our nervous systems. Are y'all scared? Are you tapped into the collective? Let's do some breath work. Let's get in a circle. Let's breathe this out. Okay. I love that they're cute and you don't eat them. That's beautiful. Rosalie is saying quitting social media has been, no, you're saying your social anxiety is so much better since quitting. Yes, I fully, 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 fully 1000% agree. And what's wild is I used to think smoking is what helped my social anxiety. And then I was like, it's literally the opposite. For me, I feel like it was like, you have social anxiety and so you're smoking all this weed, but actually if you were to like deal with all of the anxiety, then you would just be excited to like go outside and meet people. Florida is beautiful. Um, Rosalie is saying Florida is beautiful and that you hope to visit the UK one day. Harry's going to be traveling more next year now that money isn't being thrown at your dealer and Uber Eats. Got some Uber Eats yesterday and it was of a chicken. Sorry. And it was delicious. Here's the thing though, and I think it's so important. I think it's so awesome to taste great. Like as a concept, obviously, I don't want to be eaten. But but if I as a human being, like if there was some other apex predator who ate human beings, but they were like, and I've talked about this on a live before. This is not my first time expressing this point of view. And they were just taking a wing off of your girl Chimdi. They were like, damn, this is some good arm. I would be like, you know what? At least you're appreciating me. At least you're appreciating me. So I think there's something to it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. There's something to it. And I just think you should tell your chickens, Art, that even though you will not experience the taste of their delicious flesh, that they are delicious. And I think that's a gift. And I don't know what I'm defending right now because truly, I have vegan nuggets in my freezer. So this is, you know what it is? I think not eating meat is tied to spirituality. And I want to be the kind of person who doesn't eat meat, but I'm not there yet. And I just have to be okay with being where I am on my journey. Harry's saying meditation has been super valuable for you. Ooh, my meditation app is called Insight Timer, and it has a whole breathwork section that I just got into, which I really love. Why do you love waking up? Out of curiosity, because I might check it out. Um, Ooh, and you can get it. Them, you know it must be good because you have to normally pay for it. So you're saying you can get a scholarship for it, and it'll be free, which means that that it must be really good. Hi, Friday. Thank you. Friday saying that she loves the braids. Thank you, Queen. Like I said earlier, I'm not wearing pants, so I'm not really gonna stand up and show you how long they are, but they are, trust, very, very sexy. Hi, Cole. Andrea! Girl, Andrea, you truly, like, can I tell you, you literally are the blueprint when it comes to coaching clients. Like, I was just thinking, like, I would love, like, I'm manifesting more clients who are like you. Seriously. I'm just like, because I've been chilling. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm hanging out talking to y'all for 35 minutes on a Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, just vibing. But I've been chilling, because I'm just very much like, the clients will come when they come. I'm like, this is how I know that entrepreneurship is maybe not my uh I don't know. It's maybe not like the most important thing to me. Because I'm very much like, because some people are like, you can have like a business strategy and an outreach strategy. And I'm just like, listen, the clients come from God. All right. Like it's foolish to think that the clients come from me posting regularly on Instagram. I am going to get back to doing that. I do have some guilt about that. It's truly only been like a week that I haven't posted on Instagram, but I'm gonna get back into it. But I think it's because in my heart of hearts, I genuinely believe that I vibe out and the clients who match vibe in. I think it's that straightforward. And so, but I think what was going on is I was connecting to like, well, I think part of it is like low key part of why I do coaching, even though I love it and I'm great at it, is for the money. And I've just been getting money from other places. I'll make a separate video. Um, I've been getting money, y'all. So part of me is like, wait, I don't gotta work. I really don't have to work. Like that is literally like the fundamental. I think that might be the lesson of my life because I do think we each have like a purpose and we come here to learn something. And I think the fundamental lesson I'm learning in my earth mission is like, you do not need to earn love. It's normal. Abundance is normal. Lack, scarcity, these are not normal. And so I think so there's like, I think with every lesson, there's layers to it. And so there's like one layer of it where I was like, okay, I believe that. And then it just keeps like going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So I'm like, wait, you seriously mean that? And God's like, yes. And I'm like, but you seriously mean that I don't need to fucking labor? And God's like, yes. And I'm like, like it's not like there's certain levels where I'm like, I just doesn't feel true. So I think that's still like an internal journey I'm going on. But I feel like that's like the key thing I'm supposed to learn is like, seriously, I'll take care of you. And I'm like, will you though? And that's what trauma does, y'all. I'm like, will you take care of me or do I need to take care of myself? And God is like, I got you. And I'm like, are you sure? All powerful, creator of everything. Can you really take care of me? And God's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, what's going on here? So Andrea is loving. Andrea still uses Insight Timer. Yay! Harry loves the structure of the app. It brings in a lot of philosophical perspectives, especially Stoicism. So you do a daily meditation, listen to a short podcast giving you some theory on meditation. Dope. Okay, Art is saying that chickenpox is not the same in humans as it is in chickens. Literally, when you said chickens have, I'm like, chickens have beaks. Are beaks noses? So chickens have runny noses, watery, bubbly, swollen eyes, and scabs. You do eat chicken. Okay. So how does that so how does that work, Art? So do you think of them as your pets? Or you think of them as just like also food, but just they're like a specific kind of food and that they're the egg-based food. And so you are still eating them, you're just eating their babies. How do you how do you conceptualize that? Um Art and her husband raised 22 baby rabbits for meat. Okay, see, what I haven't done is eaten a bunny. Okay, at least the animals I eat aren't cute, but I guess it kind of comes down to what you think is cute. 22, girl? How much rabbit do you need? Was this for a feast? Was this over a series of months? Is this ongoing? Is it like 22? Are you just like, you just put a little like knot to put a line through, like, all right, we got to 22. Are you aiming for 50? 22? Do you like, you must like the taste of rabbit. Also, I don't know if you're a Hunger Games fan. I watched the first couple movies, but I was like, this is too intense. Though I gotta say, I actually really like the trailer for the most recent one, but I was like, I just can't watch people being murdered for sport. Like I don't think my nervous system can handle watching children being murdered for sport anymore. And the fact that that's entertainment is a fucking sign of the trauma of our collective. But anyway, I only ever think of rabbits as the kind of food you eat in an apocalypse style. Like things are really going bad. I'm living off the land and I need to hunt and I can hunt a rabbit. Like that's all I think of. I don't think of eating rabbits as like, I could have chicken or I could have steak or maybe this rabbit that was in our backyard. Like that just brings me to a whole different mindset. Um Harry's saying, I love how I go from talking about one thing to another thing. I think I'm going to do this for as long as it's fun and then I'm going to leave. I was going to say like an hour or so, but I think I'm just going to hang out until I do something else. So Harry's talking about the cultural significance, especially since businesses are trying to capitalize on mindfulness, etc., um, without actually giving credit where due. And I think what's so interesting about businesses, like, well, maybe that's a cynical point of view. I was going to say that the thing with businesses leveraging things like meditation and some of these more like Eastern concepts to support the wellness of their workers is that it feels so like fundamentally diametrically opposed to capitalism because to me capitalism is very much about exploiting natural resources and overriding our natural instincts for balance in the name of like unending growth. It's like more money, more money, more money. So like the idea of like, hey, maybe pause and meditate is to me so opposed to how a business will be successful in our current understanding of capitalism. But maybe that speaks like a broader shift that's happening where maybe we're falling more into balance with like the natural world and the fact that employees are being encouraged to do this. Like, of course it'll trickle up because it can't help. It can't not. So maybe, and I think in the spiritual world, the consensus is that we are moving to a new earth. Like it's very much like we did it. The books I read are all like, guys, we did it. Like we did it. We're over the threshold. It's only getting better from here. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a little rocky. Things might be a little rough. But, for the most part, we're heading towards the promised land. So like, it's all good. Hi, Nicole. Harry's asking, have I ever tried holotropic breath work? Have I, Harry? Have I? The one I do on Insight Timer is literally called like DMT breath work. It's like, get that DMT, get that natural DMT. And I'm like, yeah. And it's great. I'm a big fan. The only thing, because I was doing it like every day for a little bit, the only thing is that I think it makes my processes, my like emotional trauma processes that I do more intense because the process like shakes loose like energy in your body. And so I think that made it so that when I would do like trauma healing process work, it was way more like, which is a normal week for me. I'm always just like, like that's standard, but it felt more intense when I was doing the breath work on the same day. So I've kind of been chilling on that. Um, yeah, I've been chilling on that. Also, because historically, I've tend to be very intense when it comes to how I approach healing modalities. And because breath work can bring in a lot of energy, like I want to be really mindful about not bringing a lot of energy into my body if my actual system can't handle that. I don't want to mess myself up. Rosalie is like, I read all the books. Harry's saying there's a show called Meet the Meet the Family, spelled MEAT, where they get families. Oh my gosh, I thought that was gonna take such a if that was a show set in America, it would have a very different energy. They get families to raise farm animals for a month and then commit to being vegetarian or eat the or eat the animals they were raising. Okay, that's what I thought you were gonna say, and I was like, "That's so dark." Oh my gosh, that's really dark. That's really dark. Tell me more about it, please. How often do the people choose to eat the animals, and how often do they become is it like most of the time they become vegetarian, or sometimes they're like, "Yeah, give me that chicken." They don't think anything of like, "Yeah, fucking roast that shit, I'm hungry." Whoa. The highest compliment I can give that show is that sounds like something that would be made in America. I wouldn't watch it, it would be way too upsetting for me, but that's an insane premise. That's an insane premise. I'm actually impressed. Um, Art is saying ongoing, 19 left in terms of the rabbit situation. Your husband loves them and you love the chickens. The chickens are pets that give you food. You know what though? Here's why I appreciate that. I don't really believe in having pets. I think animals should be outside and they should be free. Like that's like a general way I believe things should be, right? But I've heard that's like, "No, no, no. They love it." And it's like, "Of course you'd say that." But they're like, "No, no, no. Those animals love being our pets. They love it. They love how we lock the door behind them when we leave the house and then they have to stay in a cage so they don't fuck up our furniture. They love it." And I'm like, "Okay." But I like the idea of it being like mutually beneficial. It's like, "I love your company. I will totally feed you and take care of you, and then you give me your produce, you give me your offspring, you give me your children, and I will eat them." So I really like that balance. And, that's where I still need to do some healing. Do you see how there's still this idea of like, you can't just let a living creature in your home. You have to be getting something from them. Like, this is why I still have a lot of healing work to do. I'm just reading. So Art, they ate 2 rabbits. One died of natural causes. Okay, I thought you were saying one died from a broken heart, but you're saying raising the rabbits is heartbreaking. I thought you were saying a rabbit died of a broken heart because it was separated from the others. And I'm just like, what is happening? Okay. You bottle feed the newborn babies? What in the world? Why are you doing this to yourself? And then you butcher and eat them? The fact that you even have the capacity to breastfeed, not breastfeed, to bottle feed this rabbit and then fucking chop its head off, wild, wild. You have a lot going on, Art. You have a lot going on. Hope you give yourself grace for the emotional turmoil you put yourself through. And I don't think anyone's making you do this. This is by choice. Um, Rosalie is saying ignorance is bliss when it comes to eating meat for real. It's true. I went to this animal sanctuary in Mexico against my will. Um, and it was so traumatizing. And I immediately became vegan for a couple of weeks because it was literally just so viscerally upsetting. It was so upsetting. It was so upsetting. But I gotta just be where I am in my journey. I'll get there eventually. All right. Harry's going to go for a walk and read in the park. Thanks for hanging out, Harry. I'm going to take your exit as a sign to get out of here, too. It's been beautiful hanging out with y'all. I was going to make a video and stuff, but I feel like this was, a lot of energy was exchanged just now. So I think I'm going to also just like sit quietly and drink some water. But I love you. Thanks for hanging out.